So what is going on, guys? Back with another YouTube video, taking you guys through some of the stuff I love most, meaning some of the best features on my Land Cruiser 80 series. Some of the features that a 25-year-old Land Cruiser has, which is actually kind of surprising to me. But first thing on the agenda today is to get my baby cleaned up. She's quite dirty, quite dusty, drove in some swamps, drove in some big mud holes. So let me take you through this. Let's get her cleaned up, and then I'm going to take you through those features. Enjoy. So here she is. As you can see, that bonnet is full of dust, and we need a good cleanup.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute, I'm about to quit my job, cash in for a ticket. I'm going on a trip and I don't plan to visit. I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning, and this is just the beginning. I need a big change, help me feel like living. I need a big swing, home runs I'm hitting, and I'll never look back, moving on till I get it all. And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? Let's go! Hey! Yeah, this is my life, my strife, my right to fight, to die, and this is my game to play, to claim a brand new name, and I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm a bit nervous that I might screw everything up that I've ever done. But what's the point of living if you ain't having fun? I guess I'll try this, try that, might miss, gotta find what I'm good at. I guess I'll look here, look there, over where am I scared, where am I at? I gotta make it in this life, whatever makes me happy, know I'm doing things right. Sipping in the summer on a goose and Sprite, or find a nightclub for the end of the night, And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be?
So we just got done with getting the car cleaned up, and I just want to take you through some of the features of a 25-year-old Toyota Land Cruiser that some modern vehicles these days don't have. So in this day and age, yeah, some vehicles don't come with these features, but this 80 series is, I guess, a decent spec. Obviously you could get all kinds of specs with these kind of vehicles, some really basic, and others much better. So with this particular one, I would say number one, cool feature as well is altitude. It tells you the altitude, and it tells you, you know, all kinds of information up there, which you might not think is helpful, but you turn out to actually use it quite a bit. It's quite useful, and it's nice having it. Actually, Nairobi is a bit higher up in altitude, you know, about 2,000 meters above sea level, so this thing actually tells you that, so it's pretty useful. And then it's got of course the compass as well, which of course these days with modern phones you have the compass there, but you know, for your car to have it is much more useful. On some of my trips we've just had to know that, you know, you need to go north or you need to go east, and you just follow the compass and make sure you just point it in the right direction, especially when you're like in Masai Mara or those kind of open plains where, yeah, you don't really know where you're going, but you need to head in a certain direction. So that would be my number one feature that's pretty cool. Number two is the ice cold AC. You know, touch wood, fingers crossed. I love that, you know, it still works. But the fact that it works and it's got three rows of AC. So this AC goes all the way from the front, and the rear passengers actually have it blowing onto their, you know, the back of their heads, which is really cool, because all other Land Cruisers then pushed up those vents to the front, but this one has it right there. And you know, every time I've had people sit at the back and they felt that AC blow at the back of their heads, they've loved it. And then you've of course got that AC going all the way to the entire rear where the boot area is. So that would be my number two. Pretty cool feature. Then of course you've got good automatic controls in this vehicle, you know, to sort of fold in the mirrors, or to electronically adjust the side mirrors, and that's something I've liked quite a bit. You know, it's a Toyota, so most of the motors, electronic windows, automatic windows, most of them work. But I will admit that the 80 series, yeah, it's not the best with the window switches. Yeah, they do mess around sometimes, you know, and they need a reset every now and then. But other than that, it's all good. So that's another thing. Again, it's a 25-year-old vehicle, and it's got a, you know, A442F 4-speed transmission, which I know these days modern vehicles you're going for like 5-speed, 6-speed, even 10-speed. But I would still consider this quite modern in the fact that the transmission shifts smoothly, you know, doesn't necessarily bother you, and the overall drive and sound insulation, which is a good point, and it's something that Land Cruisers do pretty well. You know, it's part of the refinement of the vehicle. Sound insulation in the 80 is pretty decent. I don't know how you can hear me on this video, but you know, I've got a loud engine, the 1FZ FE, but the sound insulation is really good. And on long trips, I've really felt at ease with this vehicle, and I've been glad that I've you know, chosen to take this vehicle. So it's really impressed me in many aspects. Another aspect I would speak about is actually that 1FZ FE engine. Despite being a 25-year-old engine, you know, Toyota decided to give this engine a lot of torque in the low range of the RPMs, and I actually think that's been, you know, a great choice. This engine has aged really well, and the car just performs really well for the modern times. Despite being its age, it doesn't feel old. You know, every time I've had people and you know, guests in my vehicle or whatnot that I've driven around, everyone just kind of felt at ease, you know, and that's because of the kind of refinement that you get with this vehicle that the previous Land Cruiser definitely didn't have. Sorry, just that, you know, sometimes we just have some really stupid drivers in this country. That's a problem you have to deal with sometimes. But yeah, other features I absolutely love with this vehicle is the fact that this dashboard is, you know, so sort of beastly. There's no other way to put it. It's got a good grab handle. It's solid. The big steering wheel. So you feel, and you know, the kind of gorgeous large windscreen that you see out of, you really feel like you're driving a truck, but like a refined truck. And that's what I love about this vehicle, that feeling that it's solid, it's rigid, it's rugged. It gives you that confidence, and that's just a fantastic thing. For Land Cruisers that come after this, sure, they do give you the same, but not in this way, not in the confidence of the ruggedness that this thing is. You know, so tightly well put together with 2 axles, so rugged off-road. Just the way it feels off-road is a totally different animal, and yeah, I absolutely love that. So that's another thing, another feature is, you know, the 2 axles, and it plays a big role, and the fact that it's coil sprung on all 4 wheels. You know, the standard Land Cruiser setup in the modern Land Cruiser is the independent front suspension and the live axle in the rear, and you know, they'll tweak a few things. Maybe you'll get a hydraulic suspension if you go for a higher grade, or you get a KDSS, which is another great system, but none of them have the twin axle setup anymore with just coil sprung. And there's a beauty about a coil sprung vehicle that you don't get from those other vehicles. Just no doubt that there's a certain confidence that this gives you on road, and especially off road. It's a different beast, it's a different animal, and yeah, that's why I can't differentiate. I mean, I need to keep a 100 series and an 80 series, because they're just 2 entirely different beasts. And coil sprung on all 4 wheels in the setup that Toyota did with this vehicle was very well done. It performs really good, even though I've not changed these springs in the lifetime of the vehicle, so they might be sagging a bit and due for a change. But other than that, I think everything is absolutely all good, and it performs really well. Maybe it needs a change of shocks, but it handles a 285 7565 tire with ease, and it's got no issues. So, you know, that's another thing and another feature. And then of course we have the amenities. You know, you go for a sunroof, which works, thank God, touch wood, it works. 25 years old, it's a Toyota motor. I do grease it. I grease the tracks of the sunroof, and that helps you know, just reduce friction and increase the life. But yeah, it's a feature that you will use if you have it, especially if you go on a trip. You'll see where it comes into use, and then you'll not hate, but you'll not necessarily enjoy when you're in a vehicle that doesn't have that feature. So sunroofs are a great thing. They work. It's the only way to say it. And it's another feature that this vehicle offers me that some guys in Land Cruiser 200 series, and then they don't have a sunroof because they've got that kind of spec, even though their vehicle is like a brand new, or you know, 2020 or 2015 or whatever it is, you know, versus this. So that's one more feature to absolutely ride home about. And then we go to the rear seat, which is an interesting way in which Toyota did this setup, and it's something that has aged well, simply because you don't find it in any of their other vehicles. It's actually not 3 seats in the back. This was a solid 4-seater, and then you had the rear seat, so a 6-seater eventually. But the rear seats, the cool feature is they got those armrests that fold down. So if you're just taking 4 passengers, actually this vehicle is an absolute bomb. It's just fantastic. You can have a bunch of fun. We've done that before on a long trip, and the back passengers actually have a lot of comfort and luxury back there. You'd be absolutely surprised. So that's another thing that the old lady offers, and that's just great, and people have liked it and enjoyed. And then the other thing is just the kind of solid looks of this vehicle, that even in the modern era, the modern age, 2023, this has aged really well. You know, it still turns heads. There's something to be said about the design language and the glass headlights and the solid feel and beautiful sort of smoothened edges on the side, especially the way the design language of this vehicle came from, say, the 62 series. You know, you can see how the Land Cruiser evolves into this 80 series of the modern era, and it's just aged really well. Looks really rugged, looks like nothing else on the road, and people just respect it for what it is, for what it can do, for what it looks like, and that it has that Land Cruiser badge, of course. And don't forget that, you know, Toyota has openly said in their press releases and everything to do with the Land Cruiser 300 series that we based this 300 series cruiser off the 80 series, you know, to try and strive to actually drive an 80 side by side with that 300 and strive to get the feel that the 80 series had off-road and bring it into that modern vehicle. And I've not driven a 300 series yet, but I would love to kind of see if they achieved that, where they actually based it off the 80 series. And I can definitely admit and attest to that this vehicle, it feels like something else off-road. Definitely, it feels just so at home. There's just a different feeling about it. It gives you that crazy confidence to just go crazy. And I feel like you can go through hell, just go through a bush, go through a tree. That's the kind of confidence it gives you to just fly off-road. But you have to have mechanical sympathy, so always remember that. Just because the vehicle is solid, or it's a Toyota, or it's an 80 series, doesn't mean you get to thrash it or whatever. Everyone's got to have some level of mechanical sympathy. That's very important with the vehicle, because it is all mechanical. It's, you know, you got things, moving parts, and that has to have a certain level of sympathy if you want it to give you the service that anyone would want out of a vehicle that you spend some of your hard-earned money with. So those are the things I'd go through, guys. Thank you for watching.